Happening now, Tarrant County College 2024 holiday video is getting national attention. Find out why the video is earning praise nationwide for its powerful message of community and connection.
And as President Trump returns to office, migrants at the U.S.-Mexico border are encountering hurdles. We'll explore the latest challenges they're facing and the impact of the recent policy changes.
Also, planning a trip to Europe? We'll tell you the new requirements you need to know before you book that flight.
From the Northeast Campus of Tarrant County College with the latest news now. This is the NewsFeed at noon.
Thank you for joining us on the NewsFeed at noon. I'm Lauren Harper.
And I'm John Patterson. And we'd like to get things started right away with a look at our current weather conditions. Lauren, what do we have today?
Well, John, we had that freeze most recently where we had a little bit of precipitation, but it's going to start warming up. We are seeing the cold front continue to move through the Metroplex, but again, those temperatures are starting to rise. Right now, current conditions are 50 degrees. We'll hit a high of about 51, so not much warmer. However, the real feel is still about 45, and where there's heavier cloud cover, it may feel even cooler. Taking a look at the rest of the Metroplex, the DFW area is staying about 44, Fort Worth 44, Dallas 44. Up north, not much cooler at 43 degrees. You'll see, again, that cold front pushing in. However, those south winds moving in from the Gulf, that will start warming up those temperatures. Again, we'll start seeing toward the weekend and the middle part of next week. Taking a look at those weather headlines, you'll see this weekend, again, much warmer temperatures. Sunday, you'll see temperatures hitting even the 60s, possible showers late Sunday night. A slight warming trend for next week. And then again, those south winds moving in, dropping those temperatures, or raising those temperatures, excuse me. We'll also see slight humidity.
Our top story this afternoon, the holidays may be over, but Tarrant County College made a lasting impression with a heartfelt message of community and connection. During the holiday season, TCC shared a video across its community celebrating everything the college has accomplished last year, from increased enrollment to national recognitions, all while showcasing a deep sense of pride. TCC joined colleges across the country in sharing holiday messages, and our video was selected as one of the best in the nation. Let's take a look back at how Tarrant County College celebrated the season. That one was supposed to be a 2.
Wow.
Home is more than a place. It's a feeling that you belong, that you have a seat at the table, surrounded by family and friends. When you're home, you know. May your holidays be filled with joy, laughter, and peace.
Tarrant County College's holiday video not only celebrated its accomplishments, but also reinforced its commitment to community and connection. Out of 14 colleges that submitted holiday messages, TCC's video was honored as one of the best of 2024. Congratulations, TCC! Tarrant County College is expanding its healthcare training programs with a $280,000 grant from the Texas Higher Education Coordinating Board. The funding will strengthen training in programs such as electrocardiogram technician, phlebotomy technician, patient care technician, and pharmacy technician at TCC's Opportunity Center in Fort Worth. The goal is to meet the growing demand for certified healthcare workers, particularly in underserved communities in Tarrant County. TCC leaders say this grant demonstrates their commitment to changing lives and empowering families through education. TCC Chandler Elva LeBlanc said this grant will be utilized, adding to that for nearly 60 years, TCC has been a major economic driver in the region, strengthening the Dallas-Fort Worth healthcare workforce through transformative educational opportunities. Want to get this one? Tarrant County College is stepping up to help fight food insecurity by hosting monthly food markets across campuses. The goal to provide fresh food and other essentials to those in need, especially in underserved communities. The markets, which will also include clothing pop-ups at some locations, are part of TCC's ongoing efforts to support our community. You can find food markets at several TCC campuses, including Northeast, Northwest, South, and Southeast, with varying schedules each month. It's a great way for TCC to give back and ensure that families have access to the resources they need. For more details on when they are held, you can contact the colleges directly or log on to their website at news.tccd.edu.
Now over to Dallas. The City Council has officially appointed Kimberly Bezor-Tolbert as the new city manager. After a nearly year-long search, the council voted 13-2 in her favor, beating out candidates from Sacramento and Fort Worth. Tolbert, who's been serving as interim city manager since May, will now make $450,000 a year, making her the city's top-paid executive. She's had a long career, including serving as chief of staff under former city manager T.C. Broadnax and working with the North Texas Tollway Authority. Two speakers addressed the council, giving her a big thumbs up for the full-time role.
A North Texas 911 dispatcher got a terrifying shock while on shift, hearing a house fire broadcast over the radio, only to realize it was her own home. Maria Castrejon, a Denton 911 dispatcher, was working overnight on Saturday when a fire broke out in Crum just after 2 a.m. Requests for help went out through Denton's dispatch, and that's when Castrejon recognized her address. She said it felt like a surreal moment as she grabbed her belongings and rushed home. Fortunately, her parents were able to escape along with their chihuahua, but her mother did suffer smoke inhalation. Castrejon said it's every dispatcher's worst nightmare, not knowing if your family is okay.
When the newsfeed returns, if you're headed to Europe soon, there's some new travel rules you'll want to know about before booking that next flight.
Plus, but first, new immigration directives from the Trump administration are raising concerns in a small Texas panhandle town. We'll take you there next.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Julie was always a voracious reader. She'd carry 2 novels on an airplane because she'd read one on a 3-4 hour ride. And at some point, I began to notice that she would read a page and couldn't remember what she had just read, and she'd have to go back and read it again.
I don't remember much these days after I read, but less does for me, and I love it.
If you love them enough to suck the snot out of their nose at 4 a.m., then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
In national news, thousands of active duty troops are heading to the U.S.-Mexico border. The first wave includes 1,500 troops, but that number is expected to grow. This move follows new executive orders from President Donald Trump targeting immigration, sparking anxiety over promises of mass deportations. One directive could even allow arrests in places like schools and churches, locations once considered off limits. Meanwhile, the president has 90 days to decide whether to invoke the Insurrection Act, allowing troops to handle domestic law enforcement. Our Ed LaBandera has more from a Texas town bracing for what's next.
Good morning, Cactus Elementary!
Every school day at Cactus Elementary starts like this. Moments of patriotism and reflection with a high-energy dose of inspiration from Principal T.J. Funderburg.
You do that every morning?
Yes, sir.
When I looked out on the student body this morning,
I mean, it's quite something to think that we're in the Texas Panhandle, and that's what your student body looks like.
It's always very eye-opening to people that come here. We've got 13, 14 different languages, all these different cultures represented. And yeah, we're up here in the heart of the Texas Panhandle. Everybody think it'd be farm and ranching country and kids in cowboy hats, and we've got just about a little bit of everything.
The population in Cactus, Texas is about 3,000 people, but the diversity is staggering. There's an African restaurant, safari restaurant and halal meat. There's an Asian grocery store. There's a Mexican butcher shop. There's a Guatemalan grocery. There's also an Islamic center. What draws so many immigrants and migrants here to a community like this is the work, and it is brutal, backbreaking work. There is a meat processing plant that runs 24 hours a day. There are dairy farms that run nonstop. These are the kinds of jobs that the United States economy and food supply rely on every day. It's also the kind of work that only immigrants, by and large, are willing to do. There are towns like Cactus, Texas, all over the country. And with President Donald Trump promising to carry out mass deportations, a sense of fear and uncertainty looms over these streets. What are you hearing specifically from people?
They're scared. They don't know if they're gonna be able to stay here. You know, a lot of them have been here for decades. They've built their lives here, their kids are here, you know, everyone they know is here.
Elizabeth Oliveros grew up in Cactus, the daughter of immigrants who became citizens and earned their living working in the city's meat processing plant. She went away to college, became a lawyer, and moved back to Cactus to work as an immigration attorney. If there were to be mass deportations here in this city, what would happen to it?
It'd be quite empty, I think. There's a lot of people here that don't have status that keep a lot of the businesses, the smaller businesses around here running. So if immigrants leave, I don't know where they're going to find workers as hardworking as some of the immigrants.
As we walked the streets of Cactus, it was clear that most residents, regardless of their immigration status, didn't want to speak with us on camera, and especially didn't want to talk about President Trump's deportation dreams.
You know, I don't like politics. I don't like.
9.
The children at Cactus Elementary are mostly oblivious to the political storms brewing outside these school walls. Principal TJ Funderburg is bracing for whatever comes next.
It's just the unknown that scares me to death.
He says as many as half the kids in the school could have undocumented family members. These are the kinds of places where the reality of mass deportations could play out. To the people who are going to be making these decisions about deportations, whether it's mass deportations, just broad or targeted, what's your message to them?
Just, I mean, come talk to me. come meet these kids. Think, you know, I know there has to be rules, there has to be checks, there has to be balances, but it can't just be paper. This community of people that have come together, that are here now from all these different countries, all these different places, we can do amazing things if we work together.
In today's consumer news, heading to Europe this year, you'll want to know about new visa requirements before you go. In today's Consumer Watch, Jen Sullivan has everything you need to know before you fly.
Heading to Europe this year, there are some big changes that travelers need to be aware of. As of January 8th, Americans traveling for less than 6 months to or through the United Kingdom, that includes England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland, will need what's known as an electronic travel authorization. It's basically a digital registration to get into the UK.
That is something that you apply for with the UK government, gov.uk.
All U.S. citizens traveling, even children under 18, need to apply through the UK government website or through the app on their website. You'll need to upload a photo of your passport, as well as a photo of yourself, and answer various questions about your trip. It takes about 20 minutes to complete. There's also a fee. It costs £10, which is roughly $12.25, depending on the exchange rate. Travelers must fill it out and pay for the ETA before their trip. It takes about 3 days to be approved, but UK officials warn it could take longer.
Once you're approved, it's good for 2 years, so you don't have to keep filling out the form.
So what happens if you forget to fill it out?
there is a chance that you will not be allowed in the country.
Later this year, the European Union will also be rolling out new travel forms. It's called ETIAS. When those go into effect, they will cost about $7.70.
You need to just account for that when you're putting together your budget for your big European vacation, and understand that as time goes on, more and more countries are going to require them, and those seemingly small fees can certainly add up.
For Consumer Watch, I'm Jen Sullivan.
When we come back, a warm-up this weekend. Our storm team forecast is next.
And a frozen bald eagle gets a second chance at freedom. It's coming up in today's Take a Look at This.
Yo, camping buddy. Okay, you guys ready?
Dude, I thought you were driving.
I thought you were driving.
Oh, I never said I was driving.
I definitely can't drive.
Okay.
If you're high, just don't drive. It's illegal everywhere. If you feel different, you drive different.
All right, I'm in the house.
Okay, what do you see?
Nothing yet. Hold on. I think I just heard something. I'm heading upstairs.
Okay, I am almost there.
I'm in the bedroom.
Okay.
Oh, shit. It's not here.
What?
The gun's not here.
What do you mean? Where is it?
Cameron, are you in there? Open the door. Cam! Come on, Cameron.
The impact of a meal goes well beyond feeding our bodies. Because when people are fed, futures are nourished. Everyone deserves to live a full life. And with your help, together we can end hunger. Join the movement at feedingamerica.org/actnow.
From the NewsFeed's Forecast Center, this is your Storm Team Forecast.
All right, across the Metroplex right now, it's pretty clear. Some states really out east may see some heavier cloud cover. Again, that's with those winds that we experienced earlier that were dropping those temperatures down, moving in from the west and again pushing that cold, really dry winter air across the United States. Again, Texas is clear. Really no precipitation for most of that south area near the Gulf Coast. Humidity is relatively low, so counties out west, Midland, Odessa area, those will have higher chances of fire. Now, again, looking at that next radar, you'll see temperatures up north staying relatively cool, your typical winter temperatures, relatively sunny. Kansas City, 23. Look at the DFW Metroplex, though. Look at that shift from Lubbock at 42 to Dallas, clear skies 51. Look at that shift down south, Houston 55, after they just experienced one of the heavier winter precipitation experiences they've had in history. Again, those temperatures continue to get cooler as we move towards the coast, except for California hitting mid 70 degrees. The rest of today, those temperatures will drop significantly as we move into the evening. 50 degrees about 4 p.m. That'll be probably the warmest we see, especially with that overcast. 45 at 6 p.m., 48 p.m., dropping into the mid 30s. And really, as we move into the morning, it will get cooler, probably about 32, 33 for the low tomorrow morning. Now, we do have that 5-day forecast for you. Starting Monday, you'll see those temperatures start to raise. 54 for the high, 38 for the low. It'll pick up a little bit on Wednesday. Those lows staying relatively the same. Cloud cover, though, that's what's going to keep those winds high, that wind chill relatively low, and it still feeling like that winter dry air.
And a dramatic chase with highway patrol troopers ramps up in intensity after the suspect vehicle nearly ramps over an Air Force Base perimeter fence. Jeremy Roth has today's Take a Look at This.
Watch a suspect chase go nearly belly up
at an Air Force base. This high-speed pursuit in Oklahoma ended in dramatic fashion when the reportedly stolen vehicle Highway Patrol troopers were chasing plowed into a perimeter fence, nearly going airborne in the process. Speaking of airborne, the fence just so happened to belong to Tinker Air Force Base, a major military installation in Oklahoma City. Once the vehicle stopped, one suspect quickly surrendered while the other tried, not so gracefully, to flee on foot. I don't know where this dude thought he'd be escaping to on a military base, but it doesn't matter. OHP says both suspects were taken into custody. And while some are out there deflecting and swerving, some are out there protecting and serving, like this trooper who just so happened to spot a crashed car burning in the opposite lanes of a Dallas tollway. The Department of Public Safety trooper quickly pulled a U-turn and arrived at the fiery scene to find the driver still inside, braving the flame and smoke-filled wreckage to pull the incapacitated driver to safety before medical responders arrived to take over treatment. The department said the trooper's courageous and life-saving intervention demonstrates the true essence of their commitment to safety. Finally, from an eagle-eyed hero to a pair of eagle-saving ones. A Good Samaritan and police officer in Alaska worked together to save a juvenile bald eagle that was found nearly frozen and unable to fly. After warming the ailing eagle in a toasty patrol car, officers worked with wildlife authorities who checked out the thawed-out bird, giving it the thumbs up before sending it up back where it belongs. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
Thank you, Jeremy. Keep it right where you are. We've got Cameron coming up next with sports.
Slip it, cuff it, check it. Talk to doctor now and share it.
Get it, slip it, cuff it, check it. High blood pressure silently affects millions of Americans. Staying on top of your blood pressure is as simple as these 4 easy steps. Self-monitoring is power. Visit manageyourbp.org to learn more.
If you love them enough to suck the snot out of their nose at 4 a.m., then surely you'll check NHTSA.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
If you're buzzed and doing this, to make yourself feel okay to drive,
ZWX.
you're not okay to drive.
YGKLVW. Regular you.
We're back with your Sports Spotlight, and it's been an action-packed NFL playoff season. The AFC Championship game has come down to 2-time defending Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs versus the Buffalo Bills. Can the DFW Rays' Patrick Mahomes make history, or will Josh Allen play the spoiler and finally get to his first Super Bowl? That question will be answered on Sunday at 5:30 p.m. Central Time on CBS. In the NFC, we saw the number 2 seed Detroit Lions fall to the Washington Commanders and the front-running Rookie of the Year, Jaden Daniels, in a display of maturity not matched by many seasoned veterans. Where their NFC Central rival, the Philadelphia Eagles, have been surrounded by doubt throughout the playoffs. Can Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley finally help the Eagles fly, or will it be another letdown for the city of brotherly love? We see at 2 p.m. Central on Sunday on Fox. We pivot to the NBA, where your Mavericks sit 7th in the Western Conference, as Oklahoma City sits at the top with a 6.5 game lead, surprisingly followed by the Houston Rockets. In the second spot before the All-Star break, Jumping to the Eastern Conference, we see the Cleveland Cavaliers taking the first place spot with a 6-game lead over their last year's NBA Finals champion, Boston Celtics, who look to repeat their winning ways and add a 19 championship banner in their rafters. All this comes before the All-Star Weekend scheduled for February 14th, Valentine's Day, through the 16th. After that, we see the teams make their final push for favorable seeding and avoiding playoff elimination. And we can't forget the Dallas Stars, who sit third in the Central Division led by the Winnipeg Jets, while the Vegas Knights run the Pacific Division in the Western Conference. In the Eastern Conference, we see a familiar cast in the Toronto Maple Leafs of the Atlantic Division in the #1 spot, as the Washington Capitals lead the way in the Metropolitan Division.
Coming up next, Post Malone is collaborating with Oreo on a limited edition cookie featuring the brand's first ever swirled cream.
We've got the details on this sweet new flavor coming soon.
I taught for 20 years, but I started forgetting my lectures. Eventually, he had to quit. My therapist recommended we go to the doctor. The early Alzheimer's diagnosis allowed us to take control of the situation. He's been such a positive force and so loving. Thank you. You're welcome.
If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together.
Okay, Dad. 1, 2, 3. You saved me. Dad?
Are you okay?
I'm fine, dear.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving.
The impact of a meal goes well beyond feeding our bodies. Because when people are fed, futures are nourished. Everyone deserves to live a full life. And with your help, together we can end hunger. Join the movement at feedingamerica.org/actnow.
Oreo is partnering with Post Malone for a new limited edition cookie. This is the first Oreo with a swirled cream, featuring salted caramel and shortbread flavors between a chocolate and golden cookie. The cookies also have 9 designs inspired by the artist, including vinyl records and a guitar pick.
It's the latest creation from Mondelez, which recently releases new flavors to keep Oreo, a 110-year-old brand, relevant and fun. The cookies will be available nationwide starting February 3rd. Thank you again for joining us on the Newsfeed at noon.
And thank you, Cameron, for keeping us up to date on sports.
Hey, thank you for having me. And see you guys next week here on the Newsfeed.